right, we're going to do a couple more domain and range problems. Remember, we're going to write the domain and range in interval notation, but on your homework, it'll show up as inequalities. When you see the inequalities, please make sure you change them to interval notation. All right, so here we go. Remember, domain is your X, range is your Y. Domain goes left and right, and range goes down and up. All right, so if I take a look here, here's my domain. I'm looking and I notice that there's arrows. Always pay attention to the arrows. So for the X's, it's going to keep on going. So it keeps on going up, and then it's going to go down, and it's going to go up, and it's going to keep on going both directions. So your X's are going to continue into the left, and they're going to continue to the right. So every X is going to have a Y value. So here, negative infinity is less than infinity. Remember, if you're writing it as an inequality, it'd be negative infinity less than X less than infinity. Or you might even see it with a capital R as all real numbers. Okay, now your range goes down and up. Now here's where you have to be careful. Yes, I see these arrows here, but let's study the pattern. If you notice, the Y's, the lowest Y's are right here. Okay, right along there. That's my lowest Y. And then your highest Y's are here. So it looks like it's going into a pattern where that is going to be your lowest Y's and those are your highest Y's. So right here, from here to here, are the only Y's that are covered. Okay, so we've got the lowest Y, 1, 2, 3, that's a negative 3. And it is a solid dot because it's on the line. At a negative 3, it's on the line there and there. Okay, then if you take a look up here, this one's at 1, 2, a positive 2, and it's also on the line. Okay, what line am I talking about? I'm talking about that curvy line right there. Okay, so if I wrote this out, it's a negative 3 is less than or equal to X, which is less than or equal to 2. Okay, let's take a look at number 8. The domain, it's your X's. All right, so this time I don't have any X's going over here. You see the arrows are both going this way. So this is my left, far left X point, and they're all continuing to go that way. So I've got a positive infinity here, and then this number right here. So if I take a look, it's going to be a bracket because it's on this sideways parabola. It's not a parabola, but it's sideways there. And so that's at a negative 1. And then I keep on going to the right to infinity. And there I have my interval notation. Now remember, I have one inequality. So I'm going to have to write that down as the X. Put your negative 1, and I'm either going to fill in a less than or a greater than, and here it's going to be equal to because of that bracket. So I have to decide, is my negative 1 the biggest number or the smallest number? And here, since it's on the left side of the interval notation, it's the smallest, and my infinity's on the right side, so that means we're going to be greater than negative 1. The bracket tells me to add the line. So it's all numbers greater than or equal to negative 1. Okay, so now let's look at the range. Range is your Y values. Now here you have to be careful because this time these arrows keep going. So they keep going in a up and down direction. So all of my Y's, there's an arrow there, there's an arrow there. So all my Y's, arrow here, I'm sorry, I'm going off the screen, and all right there. So between here, all of my Y's are covered. So every single Y is covered. Okay, so the way I write that is negative infinity and infinity. And then it's negative infinity less than Y, less than infinity. You don't want to put an X there because then you would be talking about the domain. Okay, let's look over here at number 9. Oh, it looks like I have some dots from the back side. Okay, well, let's just ignore it because here's the line right here. Okay. Now, this is a special line. It's not slanted. We talked about these. These are the ones that have no slope, a vertical line, no slope. So if you take a look, the only point that has an X value is these guys right here on that line. That's the only X that's included. So my X value is actually equal to 1, 2. Okay, interval notation, there's not really a way to write it. You just would put it in a bracket as 2. Okay, that's the only number. It's just a 2. Okay, now let's look at my Y. My Y is covered. All of these are Y's and all of these Y's. They all have the same X value, but that's my Y's right there. It goes up and down. So it's negative infinity, less than Y, less than infinity. I put the inequality first. Write it as an interval notation. Nice and simple, less writing right there. So another word for that is all real numbers, another set of words. Okay, let's take a look at number 10. Okay, number 10 is a line too, but this time it's the horizontal line. This is the one that had the slope of 0. Okay, so I'm going to take a look. If I look at my x-axis, I have arrows on both sides. So that means that this guy keeps going that way, and this guy keeps going that way. So we're going from negative infinity to infinity. So I could say negative infinity and infinity like that. I remember, hopefully you guys know how to do this already. Don't forget your X. It's all real numbers. So lines with arrows usually have all real numbers, but you have to be careful because sometimes they trick you like this. This is the only one that does not have the domain as all real numbers. All of the other lines has the domain as all real numbers. Okay. Now this one here is the only one that doesn't have the range as all real numbers. If you take a look, the only range that we're hitting is this number right here. And these guys are all the same Y's on that one. Every point has the identical Y value. So here, my Y is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a negative 4. Every point on this line has Y equal to negative 4. So it's included would just be a negative 4. Okay, that's it. Don't forget on your homework page that you need to change the intervals. You're matching. You're only doing the first 12, but only the front page, and you're going to match with some graphs. And I believe it's letters A through L that you're going to be matching with. But on all the domain and range, it's in an inequality form. I want you to write the interval notation. This is going to be practice for your interval notation.